Welcome back to Real Estate 101. Today we're going to continue our discussion on mortgage financing and talk a little bit about credit challenges. And I'm pleased to be joined once again by Tracey Brock of Dominion Lending Centers. Tracey, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, Tracey, so I want to start today's show and I want to ask you, why do you think some Canadians are having trouble getting a mortgage with a traditional A lender?
Well, the banks and the insurers really have tightened their credit requirements, unemployment rates, as well as the changes that were done in the summer last year by the government with the amortization and all the other requirements that came with that have impacted the amount of declines that are coming from the big banks.
Okay, so let's say somebody has bruised credit. What can they even get a mortgage?
You know, sometimes people with all good intentions, they overextend themselves and they do come to the point where they just fall behind. When that happens, they really need to consult a professional mortgage broker who can assess the situation and decide if they can get it fixed quickly or if it's more of a long-term solution.
Okay, so why a mortgage professional?
We are experts in the credit advice. I look at credit bureaus all the time. Every day I look at a credit bureau. I know what to look for as far as their credit scores, how to fix the things that are on there. I know who to speak to at the Equifax and TransUnion, and I can negotiate for them with if they do have collections.
And I'm sure because you do it every day, you know exactly what the lenders are looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. I know what it is that's going to make their score go up and how it will impact the decision the lenders make.
Okay, so let's say somebody does come to you and you can't help, then what?
Well, obviously there's always extreme circumstances and I can't assist everybody. That's not my profession. So in that sense, I would recommend them to a professional. You know, whether it be a trustee or a professional credit counselor, somebody like that. But it doesn't just end there. I don't just pass the buck and leave it with that person. I do follow up to make sure they stay on track because it is hard to stay on track.
Okay, so let's say someone is already trying to rebuild their credit. What can they do to speed it up?
Once you have had an indiscretion on your bureau, whether it be a 30-day delinquency or a bankruptcy or a credit proposal, it all depends on the extreme cases. The one way to do it is just to continue using your credit card from that day forward and never miss a payment again. So if it's only you've missed one 30-day payment and then going forward you don't have any more missed payments, that's one way of rebuilding credit. Where it's a more extreme case where they've had a bankruptcy or a credit proposal in place, then there are lenders out there that will provide investment loans that they don't pull your credit and you have a reporting for a 3-year period. At the end of the 3-year period, you come out with a guaranteed investment certificate, a GIC. You can do RSP loans through your bank, and as a you always have to have a revolving credit card. Right. So prepaid credit cards or equity secured credit cards are another way of doing it.
Okay, so how long do lenders want to see someone with reestablished credit for?
Minimum 24 months. There is a couple lenders out there that will do it after 12 months, but typically it's minimum 24 months if you want to get the best rates and the best product that's available to you.
Okay, so let's say someone comes to sit down with you and they're shopping for a mortgage. Why is it important for them to tell you or to declare everything about their financial history?
Bottom line, the mortgage broker is working for you. If you give them every bit of information, then there's no surprises and they're better able to negotiate with the lender circumstances and explain why something happened 2 years ago or 3 years ago or 6 months ago. The more information the mortgage broker has, it arms them with more tools to better represent you to the lender. And in the long run, having those tools available and explaining your situation, because everybody's human, and the lender needs to recognize that everybody has challenges in their lives, and letting the lender know ahead of time and there being no surprises is the key to approvals.
So do you have any tips to help people that are watching our show improve their credit rating?
Sure, there's lots of great ways to do it. 35% of your score is how you use the credit that's available to you. So for example, if you have a credit card that has a $1,000 limit on it and you have a $900 balance on it, you're going to score much lower than if that credit card had a balance of $500 on it and you had a $10 balance on it. Right. So how you use your credit is one thing. So I would suggest everybody to keep their credit balances owing on their cards less than 50% of their available credit. If they do run into problems, fix them right away. They're not going away. So if you run into the point where you have a collection, take care of it right
Get
away.
it paid.
Get it, even if it's a dispute. If it's a dispute, call Equifax, call TransUnion, say, listen, I'm disputing this. Because when it gets resolved, it's much easier for you to get it removed from the bureau afterwards if you've already given them a heads up. Again,
Right.
it's disclosure. Another way would be to just, if you have credit cards, some people have 15 credit cards and they keep 15 credit cards with, even if they have zero balances. Get rid of some of the credit cards. You only need 2 or 3 trade lines to show the lender what you can do of your
Right.
credit. Get rid of them, keep the older ones. Older ones score higher than a brand new card. So those are just some quick ones.
Okay, so let's say someone who has had bad credit in the past, they don't want credit anymore because of a bad experience. What would you say to someone like that?
There's actually quite a few people that, even if they haven't had bad credit, they just don't believe in credit. There's still a lot of old school thinking out there. Having no credit is just as detrimental when you're getting a mortgage as having bad credit. So if you've never had a credit card before, or you did and then you've never done anything since the time that you had a bad experience with it, the lender has no ability to see that you have the willingness and the capacity to pay back that loan. So they're not going to take the risk of lending you $300,000 to pay for a mortgage if you can't even show them that you know how to take care of a credit card that has a $5,000 balance on it, or a car loan for that matter.
Right.
So no credit is really bad, and I strongly suggest that they do something to get credit.
To have at least something.
If they want a mortgage, they need to show the lender that they can pay their bills.
And you mentioned before that they need to have a minimum of 2 trade lines?
Minimum of 2 trade lines, yeah.
Okay, so if they have 2 credit cards, even if they don't use them but they have them, it benefits them.
They do have to use them, because if they don't use them, they're not going to have they're not going to record that they're being used. So even if they're only using it once a month to get gas, you know, but $25, take it out. Well, not $25 anymore, but you know,
Yeah.
take it out, $50, put it back in, get the credit card bill, pay a bill. That works perfect. An investment loan, there are good credit things, like good credit sources. So an investment loan is a great credit risk.
Okay, so for today's final question, how does someone start?
You know what? Right away. If you have bad credit and you want to get a mortgage, you need to start right away. You need to go to consult your mortgage broker, your mortgage agent. Ask them, you know, to give you some advice on what they're doing. You need to pay down your credit cards. You just need to get started. It takes, like I said before, it takes 12 to 24 months of clean trade records to show the lender that you have the willingness and the capacity to pay back your debts. Don't get stung by the banks. Ask a mortgage broker.
All right, Tracy, thanks very much for coming on today's show. It was a great topic, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again next month.
Thanks, Joe. It was great.
If anybody has any more questions, or if you're having trouble with your credit and need the help of a top mortgage broker, get in contact with Tracey Brock of Dominion Lending Centers. I'm your host, Joe Terceira. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.